Welcome in. You already know what time it is. Alex Kleininger in the building. Let's dive into the Nexus. Let's dive into the Nexus. Step into the zone. Carolina stories got a life of their home. From the pages to the labs, yeah, we break it all down. If you love those books, you're at the right sound. Let's dive into the Nexus. Yeah, the mic stay reckless. Hometown justice, legends in the message. Casey Yokin's on the trail, solving cases non-stop. Turn it up loud, yeah, the Nexus don't stop. We talk plot twists, characters, theories. Author Q&A, getting answers you've been hearing. Special guests slide through, pull up a seat. Chaotic conversations with the Carolina heat. From small town drama to the mysteries deep. Every chapter got secrets we're ready to keep. Laughs laid back, but the energy wild. If you read Kleininger, you already family now. Let's dive into the Nexus, step into the zone. Carolina stories got a life of their own. From the pages to the labs, yeah, we break it all down. If you love those books, you're at the right sound. Let's dive into the Nexus, come and connect us. Alex Kleininger live, yeah, you rocking with the Nexus. Hit play, stay tuned. Every episode fresh. Welcome to the Carolina Nexus. Brought to you straight from Carolina soil. Press play and let's dive in.
Welcome back to the Carolina Nexus. I'm sorry, guys. I had to take a little hiatus to go take care of some stuff behind the scenes. It's taken care of now. I'm back for this character discussion. We were discussing Brutus Bagwell last time I was online, and I answered some hard-hitting questions. If you have those questions again, bring them on. We'll continue talking about Yoshimoto Kwando in just a second. We're going to recap Brutus Bagwell. He's a street fighter based off nobody in particular. I just took some characteristics from different characters that I liked and made them into one. And he is designed stature-wise off of Hugh Jackman's character in Real Steel, but then I gave him the dialect of Festus Hagen and the street fighting capabilities of trying to find a character that you guys could connect to that would have the street fighting capabilities of Brutus Bagwell. Ryu from Street Fighter is most accurately the best way I can do it. He's not a trained martial artist, but he knows how to throw hands. He's not disciplined in the ways that the main characters are. He's more or less, if I see it, I'm gonna hit it. That's his whole game plan. So we're here live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. We're gonna talk about these characters. We're gonna ask the questions. You're gonna ask the questions. I'm gonna answer them, and we're gonna get it done, right? All right, guys. So while everybody's coming online, I want to take a few seconds to mention my sponsors that aren't in the intro. Those sponsors being Gemstone Championship Wrestling's all-female promotion, the show going on April 18th. Check them out. Bringing the women's revolution of wrestling to the Carolinas, straight to the heart of Flair country. TCW Valentine's Vengeance this Saturday, February 21st, the day before my birthday. Go check out historic Shelby City Park, TCW. Doors open at 6, bell time 7. High octane, high impact, high velocity wrestling, the way it's meant to be. Straight up in your face. Miss Blue, welcome aboard. TCW is her company, her child, and I guarantee you Miss Blue will not disappoint when she puts on this show this Saturday, February 21st. It's going to be phenomenal. while I'm waiting on people to come in, I'm going to be preparing for the end of the show. What happened earlier, guys, it was definitely not planned. Um, I had to take care of some business, and I took care of it, and this is where we're at now. So, with that being said, the announcements from earlier, the same announcements I have now. Next week, we'll be discussing Casey Elkins' first novel, The Idol. Bring your questions about this novel and the characters within. You can ask questions about the characters from the Hometown Justice side of things that do appear in Casey Elkins too, meaning for characters like Casey herself, who have appeared in both series. You can ask questions about them, get more information that's not written on the page. The first week of March, there will be no Carolina Nexus podcast that week. Just to give you guys a heads up, there's some things happening behind the scenes I need to take care of. And currently, as of this morning, Hometown Justice Homecoming is available on Amazon at a discounted price. Physical book is discounted to $8.10, while the Kindle edition is discounted to $2.99. One more shameless plug I got to put in here. Check out Diesel Honey. You can contact my boy Dump Truck. Order you a jar. I'm waiting for mine to come in so I can do a live taste testing. Now, let's do what the theme song says. Press play, tune in, and dive in, ladies and gentlemen. Brutus Bagwell. Questions about him before we move on? I pretty much covered everything with him that I had to cover. Do you guys have questions? I know Amber asked a few. I answered them. Does anybody else have questions? Or Amber, do you have any more questions? This is a character we're talking about, Bruce Bagwell, ladies and gentlemen. And at the bottom of the screen, if you pay attention to the scrolling instructions down there, that tells you how to find my books on Amazon. Let's go check them out. And I think I confirmed during the Marcus Bagwell episode, for fun fact for those of you that don't know, Brutus Bagwell, Marcus Bagwell, their family name, Bagwell, is derived from Buff Bagwell, the professional wrestler, known for being part of the NWO. We have a question. Is Brutus Bagwell a recurring character? For the first arc, yes. And the first arc starts with Homecoming and ends in Aftermath. So, yes, he is a recurring character for the first arc. What's your question, Miss Baloo? Just type it in as naturally as you can, and I'll answer it. That's a valid question. So, as a child, I was a huge Popeye the Sailor Man fan. And the character I knew as Bluto, his real name is Brutus. So, I didn't realize that until I was closer to an adult, and I chose the name Brutus from the Popeye character. Bagwell, again, was the last name of Buff Bagwell, and I just threw it on the end of the character. Marcus, never intended for Marcus to have a brother, but alas, he has a brother. And I felt with Brutus's background, him being a street fighter and a cage fighter, the name Brutus fit him because of who Brutus was to Popeye. Thanks for the question, Ms. Ballou. You never put two and two together. How are Brutus and Marcus related? They're brothers. They have the same alcoholic father. Now, tidbit of information that isn't covered in the books. Brutus doesn't know how much Marcus suffered through after Brutus left home at the age of 11, which would explain why Marcus is smarter than Brutus. Marcus continued going to school. He had the ruler family to help him escape his reality at home. Brutus didn't. He left home at 11 years old and never looked back. That's why he's as uneducated as he is. Really good questions, guys. Really good questions. I like questions like these that make me think before I answer them. And I know as soon as Scott gets in here, he's going to have some questions to keep me on my toes. So, Miss Ballou, while I got your attention, tell Mr. Jeff he doesn't have to thank me for plugging TCW. I'll plug it every show I got. As long as I got a calendar or a poster for it, it will get plugged. And one day, I'll eventually be live at a TCW show. May even do a podcast from there if I'm allowed to. Amber, funny story about Marcus and Brutus. In the original draft, they were part of a different family. They weren't the Bagwells, they were the Hudsons. And Marcus and Brutus were called the Hudson Hammerheads, which are also characters in Hometown Justice. I reused the concept for a different set of characters. Though the Hudson Hammerheads don't get prominent page time. Let's see. I'm checking my email to see if I got any questions on there to answer too. I may have some questions. Wait, no, look, guys. Give me a second. She says, I'm more than welcome to do a podcast for her. Again, you're welcome for plugging us. Do I ever feel that once smarts? Yes and no. See, the way I was brought up, there's three types of smarts. There's street smarts, there's book smarts, and then there's and when I create a Venn diagram and put the characters where I want them to be at and decide if they're going to be street, book, or survival smart. Well, in the case of Brutus, He's more survival smart than he is street or book smart. Characters like he's more book smart than he is or survival smart. Alex Ruler is a real well-rounded guy. Haven't really had a chance to show his survival smarts nor his book smarts. Right now, he's been living off his street smarts, which compounded with his military training and his martial arts training are higher than normal. Because when I think of it, street smarts are how well you adapt to situations. Book smarts are how much knowledge you have, and survival smarts, in my opinion, are how you survive situations. But thanks for the question. I really like that one. That's going to get gold starred. My questions aren't loading in my inbox for some reason. And I guess Amber has lost interest. She's not asking questions either. Okay, guys, so if I have no more questions about Brutus Bagwell, we're going to jump into the next character we've spun for this episode. Hey, Scott's here. Scott, any questions about Brutus Bagwell before we dive into Sensei Yoshimoto Kwando? Listen, I held the fort down as long as I could, trying to give you time to notice I was online. Brutus's fighting style. Let me pull up his character thing at the bottom of the screen. Brutus's fighting style is fighting, street fighting, bare knuckle brawling. But you see right here under his name, it says Sijic user. That is a different type of energy from Rai, and it's fueled by anger, hatred, and any negative emotion, which Brutus harbors a lot of because of who he is. I'm going to blame my wife here. When I created the character of Brutus, she was playing Skyrim, and she was doing one of the College of Winterhold quests, and I needed the name for the energy. Well, in the College of Winterhold quest of Skyrim, there is a faction called the Sijics, and that's where the name came from. So, in a way, Amber helped create the energy that Brutus uses for his fights. And there's a full-blown fight scene that explains Brutus's fighting style and the abilities he possesses as a Sijic user in the first book. I'm not going to say who he fights, or what happens? Of all the characters in my books, your favorite is Brutus. Which character is my favorite? Part of me wants me to say Alex because he's based on me, but I'd be lying. My favorite character out of all of my books is in Casey Elkins. It's Kiva, the AI that Aiden Kenta created to help Casey and her team investigate preternatural crimes. Does Brutus suffer from PTSD? Well, Brutus doesn't, but Marcus will. From book 2 to book 3, Marcus will suffer from PTSD. Yes, Amber, you helped decide the name of Brutus's fighting style because you were playing Skyrim doing your College Winterhold quest, and I needed a name, and the name Sijic just stuck out with me. So you did it. It's all on you now. Miss Baloo, let me go back to your question real quick. Why is Brutus your favorite character? Yeah, Scott, see, I had to teach her about video games when she and I got together. She thought Skyrim was dumb, and now she's obsessed with it. But you got to remember, she's also a Cry Girls fan, so. And Scott, if you know anything about my wife, you would know she has restarted Skyrim 11 times in 6 months. Inspiration does come from weird sources. It's part of the Easter egg process. Like, that is the only Easter egg from book 1 that nobody has pointed out is the Sijic energy. So I figured I'd take and point it out here. You're right. He is a person that will do whatever it takes to make it through anything. His character arc in the first one shows you that. In the first trilogy, it shows you that. In the second trilogy, he gets a little bit more screen time than he does in the first book. And it gives you more insight to his character. Amber says, leave her cowboys alone. Never. Easter eggs are fun in any form of media, be it a movie, a video game, comic book, or my books. And that's why I love plugging so many of them into it. Also, if you guys are needing an energy pick me up, don't do like my wife and guzzle a pot of coffee. Contact W Energy. DUBBY.GG. Use code Nexus for 10% off your order. I do want to backtrack a minute to this question from Scott. Brutus Bagwell explains why he doesn't suffer from PTSD due to his childhood. It's because of the Sijic energy he learned to harness, but also because He's one of the few people that I've created that doesn't believe mental health is a thing. He believes it's an excuse. But if I didn't pick on you, honey, you think I was mad at you. So there's that. All right. If we don't have any more questions about Brutus Bagwell, we're going to dive right into Yoshimoto Kwando. Let me give some backstory on Yoshimoto Kwando before we get to questions nitpicking his background. He's an Asian American citizen, legal citizen. He left Okinawa in the late 80s and fled to America. He left because his family was being hunted by a paramilitary group led by one character named Usanagi. Usanagi plays an important part in the prequel, the Taigapagon series, Taming the Tiger, or Enter the Tiger. And you get more backstory on the Kwandos and why they're in America. You also get more backstory on their martial arts. Sensei Yoshimoto Kwando learned martial arts from his father, who learned from his father, et cetera, et cetera. It goes all the way back to when the Kwandos first left Okinawa and wound up in China, where they learned martial arts, and then came back to Okinawa and taught the rest of the clan and branched it off into the 8 styles of martial arts that we know today. Yoshimoto doesn't give a whole lot of details about why he left in the beginning, but when I wrote Taigapagon, it's gone into detail there. And the second book in the Taigapagon series is going to cover that. We're going to see the Golden Trio and Sensei Kwando go back to Okinawa and deal with some leftover stuff. And here's a fun fact. All of the Kwando family, with the exception of Sensei Yoshimoto, they're named after martial arts styles. Tai himself is Taekwondo. His father is Krav Maga, Kwando. His cousin Jeet Kundo. And there's a list of others. There's Capoeira Kwando, Jiu-Jitsu Kwando. They're all there. Mainly it's the male characters in the Kwando family that are named. The Kundus are the female cousins that learn martial arts, and Jeet just happens to be the most prominent one, and I chose her to represent Bruce Lee. His style of martial arts was called Jeet Kune Do. There you go. And now we have a question about Sensei Yoshimoto Kwando. Will we ever get to hear or read his backstory? Are you talking about like an origin story, or more as to why he came to America? Because if you want to know about more why he came to America, that's going to be in the prequel, Taigapagon #2, Taming the Tiger, or Taming the Dragon. That's going to be that answer. If you want an origin story for Sensei Kwando, more than likely, no. I will do my best, but I don't really have any ideas for an origin story for him at this point in time. If I get the idea, possibility. Again, if you hear the dog in the background, I apologize. Well, it's like when I brought it to my editor about doing that because somebody else had said they'd like to. This is what my editor told me. I can't write books off the wants of one reader. More than one person has to come forward and say it. So now with Miss Ballou saying it, and with Amber saying it, I have 3 people. But I still won't be greenlit for a prequel until 10 or more people want to hear about it. Unless I get all the equipment needed to print the books myself, then I ain't got to listen to my publisher. I can just publish them myself, which is a goal of mine. And I'm hoping once I get this show monetized, I can get the money together quickly to do that. And then I can hold more contests regularly and get people involved to order the books, et cetera, et cetera. I'm talking with Greg Roper about doing some merchandise. I might get with Cody Bowens about doing some merchandise. I might get with my sister about doing some merchandise. I just have a lot of things in the works. His martial arts was learned from his father, who I never named Yoshimoto's father, but he tells the boys in the prequel he learned from his father, who learned from his father, who learned from his father, et cetera, et cetera. Sensei Kwando studied relentlessly, and when I wrote his origin, it was still called Miyagi-Do. It wasn't called Jan Kwang-Do. So he focuses primarily on defense. He has an older brother who focused primarily on offense, and the 2 of them got into it, and it led to Kusanagi wanting to destroy the Kwando family because if they ever got on the same page, they could be the most powerful family in Okinawa, and it led to Sensei Yoshimoto bringing Tai to America because Tai's parents were killed during Kusanagi's attempt. Yeah, I know that's a lot to unpack, so y'all probably gonna try to wrap your brains around what I just said. So I'll try to say it slower. He learned from his father, and in the beginning, he was learning Miyagi-Do before I changed the name of the martial art. But the way it's set up, Sensei Yoshimoto had a brother who preferred offensive martial arts, and Sensei Yoshimoto himself preferred defensive martial arts. He even tells the main trio in Hometown Justice Book 1 in a flashback, and then in Taigapagon, the prequel, he tells them, you only learn defense here. Alex, Tai, and Ken went behind his back and read forbidden scrolls to learn offensive maneuvers. Anyways, I'm getting to that. Give me just a second, I'll answer your question. The 2 brothers get into it, and it led to Kusanagi tracking them down, and he set about destroying the Kwando family, or as they're called in the book, the Kwando clan. He killed Tai's mother and father, and Yoshimoto had a choice: defend his village or leave. So he took his grandson and he left to America, hoping to leave Kusanagi behind. Kusanagi didn't know Yoshimoto left. Will I ever include Yoshimoto's brother on page? Yes. There's plans for that in the Taming the Dragon sequel to Taigapagon. But audience members, I apologize for what I'm about to say. Amber, you've got to stop reading Casey Elkins and Hometown Justice and actually finish Taigapagon. That's the only one of my books you haven't finished yet. I think the main reason Amber isn't reading Tagapagon is because it's the prequel. So she has to read about Alex and Allison being together. And she really, really dislikes Allison. Sure you will. I'm sure you will. Especially after I called you out live. There she goes with the hashtag I hate Allison. Again, for the record, she doesn't hate the person Allison is based off of. She hates Allison, the character. Maybe you should change that to hashtag I hate Allison Jurgens. In order for you to understand her hate, guys, have to read Hometown Justice Homecoming. The first flashback that Alex relives is why she hates him. Sure. As long as it doesn't involve Allison getting a happy ending, you'll be happy with it, right? Miss Baloo joins the club, Amber. So you and Jones aren't alone. Hey Scott, if you're still present, let's hear your opinion on Allison. Did not intend to turn this discussion into a I hate Allison discussion, but let's hear your opinions on Allison. I think I may have created the most hated character in all of fiction with this character just based off that one flashback. Before she's ever actually introduced to the series. So Greg Roper, if you're watching, Amber needs I hate Allison Jurgens Club jackets made. Maybe you can help her out with that. One for her, one for Mrs. Baloo, one for our friend Chris Jones. Yeah, but you see, my goal wasn't to make people hate Allison. It was to make people hate Tommy Leon's. But that one flashback scene made Allison, in my book, this is how I put it. Tommy Leon's is Lord Voldemort, and Allison is Dolores Umbridge in Amber's eyes right now. For my Potterheads out there, you guys will get that reference. I never intended to make a character that was supposed to be hated more than the main villain. I'm sorry, that's my live studio audience. I can't control what they do. Now you're sucking up. I guess Scott got off. Excuse me. Before we dive back into the discussion at hand about Yoshimoto Kwando, I want to remind everybody this is the new cover of Hometown Justice Homecoming, designed by Scott Larson. It is now the cover of the book on Kindle and the physical copy of the book. Go catch it now while it's on sale on Amazon. Let's do a little bit of a deeper dive into the character. Um, while inspired by Pat Morita's portrayal of Mr. Miyagi in The Karate Kid, I based the character on Mr. Miyagi and Pat Morita's portrayal of him, but the name Yoshimoto comes from a different source, and I'm trying to find that source now so I can show you guys. This thing be bugging, yo. And again, I take inspiration from a lot of different sources, so bear with me. Yoshimoto's inspiration comes from his name comes from this character that I'm getting ready to bring up on the screen. This is my favorite character to use in Tekken, or as my wife calls it, Tekken. I don't know who calls it Tekken other than her. But his name is Yoshimitsu. And I felt that Yoshimitsu was too hard of a name to pronounce for younger readers. So I gave it a name that was easy to. I gave the character a name that was easy to pronounce or break down for people that have to break words apart to read them. If you look at this, this is how I teach people to say his name. You break it down as in Yoshi from Mario, and then Moto as in Yugi Moto, Yoshimoto. And if you say it fast enough, it sounds Japanese, Yoshimoto. One more time, I want to remind you guys that the next show on Tuesday will be about the Casey Elkins books. And when I finish this show here in about 10, 15 minutes, before I go off the air, we're going to spin a wheel and decide which Casey Elkins character we're talking about next week. I do this so it appears random because we want it to be random, but also I don't want certain people, Amber, tuning in just for certain characters. So we're going to have them tune in to watch and see what characters we get, and if the wheel lands on, that's the character we get. Because I know Amber is excited to talk and discuss Casey Elkins. She's been waiting on it. Caitlin's been waiting on it. Not even bringing that on screen. It has nothing to do with the show that's going on now. They're trying to get me to. It's a bot, basically, advertising bot. I hate advertising bots with a passion, but it keeps my show free. So let them advertise, and I'm not bringing their comments on screen. Let's see. Just got a Facebook message from my wife. She says she asked a question, but it's not showing up in the chat for me to bring it on screen. Let me see what I can do for that. Real quick, like. You're not Roman Reigns. Slow your roll, Butter Biscuit. It's not coming through. Try again, Amber. It's not coming through for some reason. Did this yesterday with you, but I may have to bring it on screen to ask it. I may not be able to bring it on screen to answer it, so I'll have to answer it and read it from my messenger. to point out Sensei Yoshimoto and his cousin Jeet Kune have mastered all styles of Jeet Kune Do. They didn't just master one. Um, there we go. I'm down. She tried again. Where did I get the inspiration for Sensei Kwando? Pat Morita, aka Mr. Miyagi. That is why I've gotten a review from Amazon saying that I'm racist because I portrayed an elderly Asian man who spent most of his adult life, most of his life in Okinawa, Japan, uprooted his grandson and moved to America. Speaking broken English, I was called racist for that. Um, however, it's been rectified. I acknowledge that I'm not racist. The review has been taken down. It would be racist for me not to acknowledge that from that time period, they didn't speak perfect English, especially at his age. Yoshimoto came to America, came to Pokeville in the late 80s, early 90s. He was already in his 70s or 80s. I didn't give a definite timeline. His English would not have been perfect. Just like at 36 years old, if I go to Okinawa, Japan right now, my Japanese is not going to be perfect. And that's literally what I use to explain the reason the character spoke the way he spoke. But also, in the same sense, I took the parts of Mr. Miyagi that I loved and some of the parts I hated and added in equal parts Master Splinter from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee, Master Roshi, all great senseis in their own right. And combined them and molded them and merged them into Sensei Yoshimoto Kwando. Matter of fact, tidbit of information, it will probably never get released, but I have a what if scenario of what would have happened if Yoshimoto had survived to modern day Pokeful. Um, since Rai does exist in my world, he could have used that to stay youthful. That's what Jeet does. She's actually 40 years old when she appears, but she looks 20 because of the Rai. Yoshimoto could have done the same, and it explains that in that what if scenario, how he would have adapted to learning of the supernatural and stuff like that. I have it written. It's never going to be released because it's a what if scenario. But in that what if scenario, he gets the new version of lycanthropy and becomes a rat in lieu of Master Splinter. And I think it's a very unique take on it. If I would ever publish that, who would be interested in reading it? I don't know if I'll be able to get drawings of either of Brutus, but I do have a drawing of Sensei Kwando on the way. And when I get it, Carolina Nexus will be the first to see it, guys. Okay, so I think we're going to go ahead and prepare to end the show. We're going to go to my spin the wheel, and we're going to determine which Casey Elkins character we are reading or we're discussing next week on the first episode talking about Casey Elkins. You can see all of the major players in the story. I'm not including the minor characters. Major players in the story. And we are now going to spin. So let's spin and win. Right off the bat, we get Amber Collins. So bring your questions about Amber Collins. And away we go. Perfect. Amber Collins and Casey Elkins will be who we discuss on the first episode discussing Casey Elkins. Makes sense that we do that. Let everything get back into shape here. I hope you guys are excited for that. Thank you for tuning back in and joining me after I had to leave earlier. I apologize for that. I promise I won't make that happen again. It was a very urgent matter I had to attend to. I'm thankful that I was able to attend to it. So you guys have a good day. I've got to get off here and start getting ready for work. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the interactions. Miss Blue, Scott, Amber, I appreciate everything you guys do. Like, share, subscribe. Next time, tune in, press play. Let's dive in. This has been the Carolina Nexus, and I'm out.